The snowstorm outside couldn't match the storm brewing inside my heart. On Christmas morning, I opened a gift with no name, only to find a photo of a child who looked exactly like me, taken years before I was born. The mystery: it was signed "Merry Christmas from your real family." Sophie Macmillan, a woman in her early 30s, has spent her life in a quiet suburban town, working at a small bookstore, living in the modest home her mother left behind. Her world is one of routine and melancholy, softened by the passing of time and a fractured sense of family. But on Christmas morning, she receives a gift that will unravel everything she thought she knew about herself. The weather outside is cold and unwelcoming, mirroring the emotional chill that has defined her life until now. The photograph inside the mysterious gift, showing a child with eyes that mirror her own, marks the beginning of a journey that will challenge everything Sophie holds dear. I sit at the kitchen table, my hands wrapped around the edges of a weathered cardboard box. The air is still too still, as if the snow outside has swallowed up everything. A silence that's thick enough to touch. The snowflakes fall in perfect formation, drifting past a small window above the sink. It's the kind of morning that feels like time forgot to move. I should be grateful for mornings like this, quiet, without the rush. But there's something about the stillness today, something too heavy to ignore. The box is small, its edges soft from years of being tucked away, and for a moment, I wonder who it belonged to before it came to me. The cardboard is worn, scuffed and faded, like a memory you try to forget but can't quite shake. I never expected anything to come today, but when the knock came this morning, it wasn't the kind of knock that you ignore. It was steady, insistent, like something important was waiting at the door, something that needed to be heard. I placed the box down slowly. It feels too much like a secret, like I shouldn't be the one to open it, but I do. The paper inside crinkles as I peel it back, and the first thing I see is the photograph. The weight of it, the way it feels between my fingers, is different from any other photograph I've held. It's heavier, as if it's carrying something more than just an image. The child in the photo is dressed in a winter coat, like the kind my mother used to buy me. And there's that smile, that look in the eyes. I stop breathing for a moment, studying it. The little face, the dark eyes, the messy hair. I could almost feel the cold in the air around this child. But there's something about the way she looks at the camera. Something familiar, too familiar. It's a reflection of myself, but I'm not the one in the picture. The knot in my chest tightens. I don't know who this child is, but I can't shake the feeling that I should. I flip the photograph over, my hands trembling just enough to make the edges blur. And then I see it, scratched into the back, in careful writing, "Merry Christmas from your real family." The words don't make sense. They scrape across the room, bouncing off the walls, echoing in the quiet. I'm not sure I heard them right. It's like my mind is trying to make sense of something that won't fit your real family. I don't know how long I sit there, staring at that note, waiting for the world to shift, for the meaning to appear in the space between those words. Eucane, I don't know why, but I find myself walking to the window. I need to look out. I need to feel something real. The snow continues to fall, soft and gentle, covering the earth in its white blanket. I can barely hear anything but the rush of my thoughts. The house feels smaller now, suffocating, as if the walls are closing in. I stand there for what feels like hours, and all I can think is, who sent this? Who sent this now? It could be a mistake, maybe some wrong delivery, some mix-up at the post office, but it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like a coincidence. The photograph in my hands doesn't feel like a gift. It feels like an accusation, like a key to a door that was locked for too long. I close my eyes, pressing my forehead to the cold glass of the window, the chill of it creeping into my skin. The silence of the house is too much to bear. Everything seems like it's waiting for something, waiting for me to figure it out. Yeah, and I don't know who would send this to me, but I do know one thing: I can't just ignore it. There's something here I don't understand, something I'm not seeing. My chest aches, but I don't let myself cry. Not yet. I don't know why, but it feels like I'll never be able to cry once I start. I glance down at the photo again, the child's eyes staring back at me with a tenderness I don't know how to feel. I should be angry, but instead I feel lost. Maybe that's what frightens me the most, that there's something out there waiting for me that I never knew existed. A family that isn't mine, yet somehow feels like it's always been. I sit back down at the table, the box still in front of me. My hands are cold now, and the edges of the cardboard are rough against my palms. I can't keep the trembling away, no matter how hard I try. It's like the weight of the world is resting in my hands. In this small box, in this photograph, the kettle finally starts to whistle, sharp and loud, but it doesn't comfort me like it should. It only makes the silence feel deeper, more profound. Kai. I place the photograph down again slowly and run my fingers across it, tracing the outline of the child's face. The world outside continues to fall away in layers of snow, but I'm here, and I don't know what to do with what's just been handed to me. The note still burns in my mind, its words echoing like a distant promise, from your real family. I want to scream, but I don't. Instead, I breathe in, slowly, deeply. Maybe there's a reason why it's come today. Maybe it's a sign, maybe it's time to find out who I really am. But right now all I have is the weight of the photo in my hands and the quiet question echoing in the back of my mind, could the past really have a different story to tell? And just as I sit there waiting, the snow keeps falling outside, quiet and steady like it always has. I don't remember when the haze settled in. The light outside felt distant, as if it didn't want to touch me. The kettle had already boiled over twice, but I hadn't heard it. The sound of footsteps across the worn wooden floor was muffled, even though they were my own. The photograph was still on the table, staring at me, waiting. I couldn't escape it. The small face, so like mine, burned through my mind, each blink more suffocating than the last. There was no one else in the house. The silence was too heavy. I put the box down with my hands trembling, not because I was scared, but because there was something familiar about it. Something that didn't belong. I had to leave the house. I had to move. It wasn't that I wanted to go, but something inside me told me I couldn't stay in the quiet. Not with that photograph, not with the words, "From your real family," still lodged in my chest like an old wound. And I walked to the bookstore, feeling the cold air sink deep into my bones. The streets were empty, the sidewalks blanketed with snow, but I didn't feel the chill. It was as if I were moving through a dream, watching myself from the outside. The bell above the door rang when I stepped inside, its sound somehow too sharp in the silence. The new shipments sat in neat piles, ready to be sorted. I didn't want to touch them, not today. My hands felt like they belonged to someone else, moving with no purpose, picking up books and putting them back down again. The smell of the pages, the faint scent of dust, usually comforting, only seemed to echo in the emptiness. I could still see her face. The little girl in the photograph, her eyes staring back at me like she knew something I didn't. Who was she, and why was she waiting for me? The clock ticked louder than usual, its hands moving without my permission. The room felt colder now, and yet I couldn't bring myself to leave. I couldn't leave the house, not really. The box had followed me here, sitting heavy in my thoughts. That night, I sat on the floor of my bedroom, surrounded by old albums. The photographs I had always kept close, memories of a life I thought I knew, were now somehow unfamiliar, distant. The more I looked, the more the images felt wrong. There I was as a child, smiling with my mother, but there was nothing in those faces that felt like the girl in the photo, the girl with the winter coat. The coldness in the air seemed to press in on me, the silence growing thicker with each page I turned. My fingers moved over the corners of the old pictures, touching the places where my memories used to be. But now they felt like strangers, a family I didn't recognize. The weight of my mother's absence was something I was used to, but tonight it felt unbearable. She had been gone for so long, but her silence had always been louder than her voice. She never spoke about a life before me, before us. She never spoke about a family. I pulled out the photograph again. I turned it over and over in my hands, staring at the child's face as if it might hold the answer. But there was no answer, just the same smile, the same dark eyes that looked too much like mine. It didn't make sense, none of it did. I set the photograph down, pressing it to the floor as if that would somehow stop the questions from clawing at my insides. My mother had always been quiet, but this silence felt like a lie I had lived with for years. I ran my hand through my hair, pulling at the edges of my thoughts, trying to make them line up. Was it a cruel joke, a message from someone who wanted to see me unravel, or was it something worse? Something sinister? I sat on the floor, the cold seeping through the thin fabric of my jeans. My back ached from sitting so still, but I couldn't bring myself to move. The weight of the photograph was pulling me deeper into something I wasn't ready to face. I hadn't expected this. Not today. Not on Christmas. And yet here I was, sitting on the cold floor with a question that would not let go. What was my mother hiding? I closed my eyes, pressing my hands to my face as the ache spread, like it had always been there, just waiting to surface. The photograph didn't answer me. The silence didn't answer me. Nothing did. I let out a breath, slow and steady. I had no answers, only questions. Too many questions for one night. But one thing felt clear: whatever I thought I knew about myself, about my family, was slipping away, and I wasn't sure if I was ready to let it. I stood up, the weight of the day still hanging in the air. The room was darker now, the only light coming from the faint glow of the street lamp outside. I walked over to the window and looked out at the snow, still falling. The world outside seemed as empty as the space inside me, but I didn't feel alone. No, I felt watched. I looked back at the floor where the photograph still lay forgotten for the moment, but I knew it wouldn't stay forgotten for long. It never did. I moved towards the door, my footsteps quiet on the cold floor, as if the house were listening to me too. There was no escape from this feeling. I didn't know who that child was or why she was waiting for me. But one thing was certain: this story wasn't mine alone. And the past, whatever it held, wasn't finished with me yet. The floor creaked beneath my weight as I stepped out into the quiet night. The door clicked shut behind me, and somewhere deep in the silence I could almost hear her waiting for me. The car's engine hums low, steady. Outside, the snow is coming down in thick, quiet sheets, the kind of snow that fills the air with stillness. I pull up slowly, the tires crunching against the icy road. The cemetery is empty. No one else comes here, not in weather like this. I take a deep breath, the cold air sharp in my lungs. My mother's grave is just beyond the old stone gates, her name worn down from years of neglect. I used to visit her here often, not so much anymore, not after everything. I close the car door, the sound muffled by the snow. My boots sink deep into the white ground as I make my way to the grave. It's strange the way everything feels so quiet here, like the world doesn't exist outside this little space. And there's something pulling at me today. I don't know what it is, but I can't ignore it. The gravestone stands there, still and cold, like it always has. The edges are soft, the letters blurred, but I know it by heart. Lena Macmillan. Ichenjubai Wusherti Burn Artsenling Isharar. The date on the stone doesn't mean much to me anymore. It's just a marker. A reminder that she's gone, that she's been gone for too long. But today, standing in the snow, I can't shake the feeling that I'm supposed to find something. Something that's been buried for all these years. I kneel down, brushing the snow away, the coldness biting into my skin. I don't know what I'm looking for, maybe just a connection, something that will fill the gap she left behind. A few minutes pass, the wind picks up, whistling through the trees, but it's still eerily quiet. I dig. It feels right. My hands move quickly, almost instinctively, through the icy earth. Something underneath is tugging at me, telling me to keep going. I don't know why. I don't even think about it. Then my fingers brush something solid, my heart jumps. I pull it free, and it's an envelope, small and hidden beneath a layer of frost. The edges are worn, the paper thin, as if it's been waiting there for a long time. The handwriting is unfamiliar. I turn it over slowly, the weight of it pressing on my chest. No return address. No name, just Lena. The cold air presses against my skin as I stare at the envelope. I don't know what's inside, but I already feel the weight of whatever it is. Can I sit back on my heels, the snow falling heavier now? For a moment, everything feels still, too still. I'm too scared to open it, but I can't stop myself. My fingers tremble as I peel open the envelope. Inside, there's another photograph, this time of a woman holding a baby. The woman's face is partially obscured, but her eyes, they stop me cold. I've seen those eyes before. They are the same eyes that looked back at me in the photograph from the box. I trace the edges of the photo, the paper soft under my fingertips. I turn it over, my hands shaking, and there it is, the date. Ichenjubai Basar Jul, the year I was born. And it doesn't make sense. I look back at the woman's face, studying her features. The more I stare, the more it feels like I'm looking at myself. Her face is older, but those eyes are mine. I take in a shaky breath, my pulse quickening. The snow around me seems to have stopped falling, the world holding its breath. Who is she? And why did she leave me with so many questions? The weight of the photograph settles deep in my chest. I clutch it in my hands, trying to steady myself, but the shaking won't stop. The woman in the picture is holding a baby that looks so much like me. It's almost like looking at a reflection in the mirror. But I've never seen her before. I don't even know her name. My mind spins, trying to put the pieces together. Ichenjubai Basarjot, the year I was born. But why would my mother have this photograph? Why keep it hidden under the ice in the cemetery years after she was gone? It doesn't make sense. She never spoke about anyone before me. She never talked about family. I don't even know if I'm supposed to believe this. I want to think it's a mistake, that it's just some cruel joke, but deep down I feel it. There's something more to this, something buried deeper than I ever imagined. I stand up, my legs unsteady. The snow has started to fall harder now, the world around me quiet again. but I feel the weight of this photograph in my hands, pulling me in a direction I don't want to go. I don't know if I'm ready to face whatever truth lies beneath the surface. But I know one thing for sure, this isn't the end, this is just the beginning. I tuck the photograph into my coat pocket, the cold metal of the envelope pressing against my chest. I stand there for a moment, my breath visible in the air, the snow around me still falling like it's never going to stop. The graveyard feels emptier now, as if I've uncovered something that should have stayed hidden. The silence is almost deafening. I glance down at my mother's grave one last time, the name blurred by the snow. Maybe she knew something I didn't, maybe she didn't want me to know, but now I can't unsee it. I turn away slowly, my boots crunching through the snow. The weight of the photograph is heavier than it should be, like it's a memory I didn't ask for but now can't forget. I don't know where this will take me, but I'm not turning back. The car door clicks shut behind me, and I drive away, the snow still falling, the photograph burning a hole in my pocket. And somewhere in the quiet I hear the voice of someone I'm just beginning to understand. And the store is quiet, too quiet. The smell of dust hangs in the air, thick with the weight of things forgotten. I run my fingers along the spines of the books on the shelf. The edges worn smooth, but it doesn't feel like home today. It feels like a room where I'm just passing through. I've been here long enough to know where everything belongs, but today it all feels out of place. My eyes land on a dusty old box in the corner, forgotten under piles of newer shipments. I don't know why it catches my attention, but it does. I kneel down and open it. The cardboard creaks like it's remembering something, too. The box smells like old paper, like something that hasn't been touched in years. I pull out a stack of letters, tied with a faded ribbon, the ink on the edges of the pages soft, as if it's fading with time. My fingers tremble as I untie the ribbon, the movement feeling too fragile, too deliberate. These letters belong to my mother. I've seen her handwriting before, thin, precise, as if each word was a decision carefully made. But these letters, these are different. The writing inside is smoother, flowing almost, like someone who took their time with each sentence. It's not her handwriting. I don't know why I'm surprised. I suppose part of me thought I knew everything about her, knew the life she lived before I came into it. But these letters feel like something I wasn't meant to find. And I flip through the pages, the paper soft under my fingertips. Each one holds words that don't fit into the life I thought she lived. Regret, love, an unspoken promise, and a name, Richard. I stop at one letter, the ink a little darker here, the paper creased from being folded and unfolded too many times. The words speak of something I can't quite place, something tender but hidden. The man, Richard, writes about promises made in the quiet of the night, about love lost but never forgotten. His words wrap around me like a whisper I'm not ready to hear. I will wait for you, as I always have. You know my heart is yours, and I will not forget you, Lena. I can feel my breath catch in my throat, my mother's name, her full name. My mother, who never spoke of a man named Richard. I didn't know anything about him, not a single story, not a whisper of a past before me. I close my eyes for a moment, trying to settle the storm of thoughts in my head. My pulse is quickening, the words on the page beating in time with the blood rushing through my veins. I read it again, and again, the same sentences, the same promise, the same man, Richard. I run my fingers over the letter, the elegant curves of the handwriting, the smoothness of the paper that feels almost too intimate. I don't know why, but I want to understand. I need to understand. How could my mother keep this from me? How could she keep him from me? Was he a secret, or just a part of her life that never fit into the story she gave me? I turn the page, there's more, always more. The more I read, the more my heart begins to race. Richard's words are softer now, as if he's speaking directly to my mother. He writes of waiting, of longing, of a connection that can't be broken, even by time. He speaks of his love like it's a living thing, something that grows and twists even when the world around it changes. I can see it, my mother, young, sitting at a desk, pen in hand, writing these words. I can feel her, so distant and yet so real, so close. Bikanek in the Nakan. I put the letters down and sit back on the floor, my hands resting on my knees, the weight of it all settling in. The shop is still, and I can almost hear the rustling of the paper, the words floating around me like dust in the quiet air. Who was Richard, and why did she never tell me about him? What was it that kept him hidden in the shadows of her life, locked away behind these letters? 1,000 thoughts rush through my mind, but none of them bring clarity, only more questions. I hold the last letter in my hand. His words are the same as before, but now they feel like an invitation. like he's still waiting, still hoping for something that's never come. And I swallow, the feeling of uncertainty filling me up, but I can't stop myself from reading once more. I have always loved you, Lena, and I will love you, even if you never come back. Kek, the room seems to close in on me. The letters are quiet now, the ink fading with the weight of the questions they leave behind. I sit there, not moving, not breathing, as if time itself has stopped, and tense grandeur. The silence in the room is almost too much to bear. I pick up the letters again, the words on the pages feeling like they belong to someone else. Someone I've never met, someone who knew my mother in ways I'll never understand. The bell above the door chimes again, breaking the stillness, but I don't move. I can't. The weight of Richard's words, of my mother's silence, is heavy on my chest. It's more than I expected to find today, more than I'm ready to face. I place the letters back in the box, tying the ribbon tightly around them. The dust settles, untouched, around me. I stand up slowly, leaving the box behind, but the questions won't leave. They follow me out into the quiet street. The world outside feels so ordinary, so unchanged. But inside, nothing feels the same. I didn't know my mother like I thought I did. And now I'm left with this echo of forgotten voices. I glance back at the bookstore, the door still swinging in the cold air. I'm not sure what comes next. But I know one thing, I need to find Richard. The house looks like it's been here forever. Its bones are tired, the wood creaks with every gust of wind. It sits on the edge of town, just far enough from the main street that it feels like it's hiding. I stand in front of it, my breath visible in the cold air. The street is empty, just the way I like it. The world feels quieter here, more distant. I lift my hand to knock, but my knuckles hesitate. It's like the door is asking me to stay out, to leave whatever questions I have behind. But I can't. Not now. I knock softly once, and then again, the door creaks open, just enough for me to see him. Richard. He stands in the shadow of the hallway, eyes downcast. I didn't know what I expected, but it wasn't this. He's older than I imagined. His face is tired, his hands rough and worn. The years have carved lines into his face, but there's something in his eyes, something that's both familiar and unsettling. I feel my heart beat a little faster. This is the man from the letters, the one my mother never spoke about, the one whose words I read over and over, trying to piece together the truth of a life I didn't know existed. He doesn't say anything at first. His gaze flickers between the door and me, bow pow, as if he's debating whether to invite me in or send me away. The air between us thickens, filled with words neither of us is brave enough to say. Richard, I say quietly. My voice sounds strange in this space, almost like it doesn't belong here. Canned. His eyes meet mine, but he doesn't smile. He steps back just enough to let me inside. Okay. The house smells like old wood and something else, something faintly metallic. I step inside, my boots sinking into the worn rug, and the door shuts behind me with a soft thud. The room is dimly lit, the shadows stretching long across the walls. Richard stands by the fireplace, his back turned slightly, like he's not sure where to look. The room is full of things that feel like memories. Old photos, dusty books, furniture worn from years of use. It all feels too familiar, too lived in. But it's not my life, it's his. Yeah, Ken, I didn't think you'd come, he says, his voice rough, like it's been waiting to be used for a long time. He turns toward me, his hands moving slowly to the edge of the mantel. But I'm glad you did. I don't know how to respond. I open my mouth, but nothing comes out. I can feel the weight of the moment pressing in on me, heavier than I expected. You knew my mother, I say, my voice steady despite the tremble in my chest. Richard nods. His eyes drop again, the regret in them too deep to ignore. I knew her well, he says. Lo? He says. His words hang in the air between us, unanswered questions swirling around them. But she's not the woman you think she was. And his voice falters at the end as if he's saying too much but not enough. I can feel the walls around him, the ones he's built up to keep his secrets hidden. But I can't stop myself. I need to know. I need to hear it from him what happened. I ask, and this time my voice cracks. Richard's gaze sharpens, but only for a moment. Ma. Then he looks away, his eyes lost in the shadows of the room she was. Part of a family, he says slowly, his words deliberate, as if he's testing them before they're allowed to take form. A family that didn't have a place for her. He pauses, as if weighing whether he should continue. A family she lost, a family you never knew about. My heart tightens in my chest. I take a step forward, drawn by the words, but also afraid of what they might mean. A family? I repeat, my mind struggling to catch up. Richard turns toward the window, the light streaming through the curtains, casting long shadows across his face. For a moment he doesn't answer. His silence fills the room, thick and suffocating. Yeah, you didn't know, he says finally. His voice is quieter now, almost distant. What yes nakper I Kardashian. She kept it all hidden from you, from everyone. The words land like a blow. I can feel them in my bones reverberating through the space. A family I didn't know about. My mother, who never spoke of anyone but me. Who never mentioned a past, a life before I came along. She never told me, I whisper, as if the words are too heavy to say aloud. Richard glances over his shoulder at me, his eyes softening just a fraction. She had her reasons, he says quietly. But there's more to the story, much more. I want to ask him what that means. What more could there be? But the words catch in my throat, leaving only the silence that lingers in the room. Richard looks back at the window, his gaze distant. I watch him, waiting for him to speak, for him to tell me the things I've needed to hear for so long. But he doesn't. Not yet. I lost her, he says, his voice barely a whisper. I lost everything because of it. His words are heavy, and they hang in the air between us, as if they carry the weight of years that neither of us can undo. I don't know what to say. The man standing in front of me is a stranger, someone I never expected to meet, and yet he feels like the missing piece of a puzzle I never knew existed. The fire crackles in the corner, but the room feels colder now, like it's full of secrets that won't be shared. I can't. I need to know more, I say, my voice steady despite the fear gnawing at the edges of my thoughts. What happened to her, to the family? Why did she leave? Richard looks at me then, his eyes filled with a mixture of regret and something else. He opens his mouth to speak, but no words come out. Instead, he looks away again, the silence stretching long between us. I feel the weight of his silence, the things he's unwilling to say, and the questions I may never have answered. But I can't walk away now. I need to know. I can't tell you everything, Richard says, his voice barely above a whisper, but I can tell you this, she loved you. She loved you more than anything. His words settle in the room like dust, thick and heavy. I don't know how to respond, but I don't need to. The silence speaks for us both. The things left unsaid echo in the corners of the room. I stand there for a moment, my eyes locked on Richard, the man who held pieces of my mother's past in his hands but couldn't give them to me. I turn toward the door. My heart feels heavier than it did when I came in, but the questions won't let me go. As I step outside, the cold air hits me sharp and bitter. The world is quiet, too quiet, but I feel the weight of Richard's words pressing against my chest. I don't have all the answers, not yet, but I will. The door clicks shut behind me, and the world outside feels as distant as the life I was just beginning to uncover. The car turns down a narrow road, winding through a thick forest. The trees tower over us, their bare branches scratching at the sky. The world feels smaller here. I press my hand against the window, the cold glass meeting my skin like an old friend. Outside, the snow falls softly, blanketing the world in a quiet that feels almost sacred. We pass a small sign, the words faded with time. Richard's fingers tighten on the steering wheel. This is it, he says, his voice low, almost lost under the hum of the engine. I look ahead. The house is just beyond the trees, standing there like a forgotten dream, its windows dark, its door closed. I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't this. Richard doesn't say anything more as he parks the car, the gravel crunching beneath the tires. The air smells different here, damp, like earth in decay, and I step out of the car, my boots crunching against the snow. The house feels so far removed from the rest of the world, of nada, like it's been waiting for something to return. Or maybe for something to leave. Richard stands next to me looking at the house like it holds 1,000 secrets. He doesn't move to open the door, and for a moment I wonder if he'll walk away. But then he takes a deep breath and starts toward the porch. I follow him up the steps, the wooden boards creaking under our weight. The door is heavy in my hand, the brass knob cool against my palm. I push it open, the hinges protesting with a long, drawn-out moan. Inside, the air is stale. The house smells like dust, old wood, and something softer, something forgotten. My eyes sweep across the room, taking in the faded furniture, the old portraits hanging crooked on the walls, the floorboards worn smooth from years of use. It feels like the house hasn't been touched in a long time, and maybe it hasn't. Richard doesn't move at first. He stands in the doorway, his eyes fixed on something I can't see. The shadows in the corners of the room seem to stretch, swallowing the light from the single window. Yen, go ahead, he says, his voice soft. Look around. I step further into the room, my footsteps muffled by the thick carpet. There's an old fireplace to the right, the stone cracked and chipped. A stack of firewood sits untouched, like it hasn't been used in years. The air is heavy here, like the walls are holding their breath. I don't know what I'm expecting to find, but everything feels wrong. Like this house was built on a secret, and I'm the last person to find out. Okay, I walk past a bookshelf, the wood sagging with age. A few books are left on the shelves, their covers cracked and faded. I pick one up, an old leather-bound journal. It's thick, worn, but it feels solid in my hands. My fingers trace the cover, the soft indentations where the words used to be. I open it. The first page is blank, but as I turn the pages, I see something more familiar. A name I've never heard before. Lena, my mother. My breath catches in my throat. The handwriting is hers, but these words, they feel different. These aren't the letters she wrote me. These are words written in a time I never knew her to have. The first entry speaks of a time before me, before the life I knew. My heart races as I read the words, but they don't make sense. My mother was never like this. She never spoke of a past before me, not like this. And I flip through more pages, the ink smudged in places as if someone's hands trembled while writing. The words speak of longing, of promises made and broken. And somewhere, buried in the pages, is Richard's name, written carefully in the margin. Yocain. I set the journal down, my hands shaking. This was my mother's life, the one she left behind. And now, I'm holding the pieces of it in my hands. I can't breathe. My eyes fall on a photograph in the corner of the room. I walk toward it slowly, as if it's the only thing in the world that matters. The Kamaishan Kever Neveri Nebel Kencher. The photo is old, yellowed with time. It's of a woman I don't recognize, standing with a man I've never seen before, Richard. And beside him, my mother, young, smiling, her hair falling in soft waves. She looks different here, in this photo. Lighter, free. The person I don't know, I hold the photo up, studying it. Richard is standing close to her, his hand on her shoulder and their eyes. There's a connection there. A closeness that makes my chest tighten. What is this? I ask, my voice barely a whisper, though it feels like I'm screaming inside. I turn to Richard, but his face is unreadable. He's standing by the door, his back to me now, as if he's waiting for something I can't see. He doesn't answer at first. His eyes linger on the photograph, the same one I'm holding. Then, finally, he speaks, his voice thick with something I can't name. You never knew her like I did, he says quietly. She was a different person back then. She was. He trails off, as if the words are too heavy to carry. She was part of this place. Part of this family. I feel the world tilt, like the ground beneath me is shifting. That pout the Sagashar on the Sturgation. This house, these memories, they're mine too. But they aren't. King. I look at Richard, but the weight of his silence is too much. I don't know if I can trust him. I don't know if I should. I set the photo down, my fingers lingering on the edges of the frame. The house feels colder now. The shadows feel closer, like they're waiting to wrap around me. I step back slowly, my heart pounding in my chest. Richard doesn't look at me. He doesn't say anything, but I can feel his presence in the room. The years of silence between us thickening like the dust on the furniture. King, I turn to leave, my footsteps echoing in the quiet house. I don't know what I've found here. I don't know what this house holds. But I do know this, the truth is buried somewhere beneath the surface, and I'm not sure I can trust the man who's been keeping it from me all this time. The door creaks as I push it open, the cold air hitting my face. I step outside, and the world seems unchanged. But I know it's not. The house behind me stands silent, waiting for me to return, and I know in some small way I will. I sit in the dim light, the weight of the house pressing down around me. The silence is thick, almost suffocating. The only sound is the soft rustle of paper as I turn another page, the faint creak of the floorboards beneath my feet. I can feel the dust in the air, settling around me like time itself is watching. And the journals are scattered across the table in front of me, their leather covers worn, edges frayed. I can't stop reading them. Each word pulls me deeper into something I wasn't ready to find. I'm alone in the house now. Richard has left, and it feels like the walls are closing in on me. Cam, what am I supposed to do with all this? I can hear the soft hum of my breath, the quiet rhythm of my own heartbeat as I reach for another journal. The room feels smaller now, the light fading as the day drifts toward evening. I haven't moved in what feels like hours. The air is still, and the room holds its secrets close, like it doesn't want to let me go. I open the next journal carefully. The pages are yellowed, fragile, but they feel important. This one, unlike the others, is filled with a neat script, the letters flowing with a precision I haven't seen before. The handwriting is familiar, yet foreign. It's my birth mother's, Lena. She never spoke of this life, of the decisions she made. She never told me the story that led to me. The words begin to pull me in, each line filling in gaps I didn't know existed. The story is fragmented, pieces of a puzzle scattered across the pages, and I can't help but try to fit them together. The more I read, the more the pieces seemed to click into place. But it's too much to take in at once. My fingers tremble as I turn the page. Okay, the journal entry is dated back to the year I was born. My breath catches in my throat as I read the words she wrote. Words I never thought I'd hear, not like this. It was the hardest choice I ever made, Lena writes, but it was the only choice I could live with. I couldn't give you the life you deserved. I couldn't protect you from the things I knew would follow. It's a decision made out of love and fear, and I'm sorry. The words ripple through me, each one heavier than the last. I feel a lump form in my throat as I try to breathe, but it's like the air is thick, hard to swallow. Kay, my mother, my real mother, left me. She made a choice, a decision to walk away, and the weight of it presses down on me with every passing second. Was I that much of a burden? Was I so much that she couldn't keep me? The questions circle in my mind like vultures, and I try to chase them away. But they're there, in the room with me, in the space between the words on that page. Yeah, she loved me, but she left me. And I keep reading, my eyes racing across the lines, but it's all so much. The details blur, the words and the story collide in my head. But it doesn't change the fact that I'm sitting here, in a house that isn't mine, reading about a life I wasn't supposed to know. The journal entry shifts, and I catch something in the corner of the page that makes my heart skip. She writes about Richard, about a promise he made. Richard swore he would take care of you. He swore I wouldn't have to make this decision alone. But I didn't believe him. I couldn't risk it. So I chose for you. I chose to let you go. I chose to give you a chance at a better life, even if it meant that you would never know me. I closed the journal for a moment, the words still echoing in my head, each one like a stone dropped into still water, rippling through me. Kecked Richard. He knew everything, and he never told me. Can't. I hold the journal in my hands, my chest tight, the room spinning around me. I thought I was just looking for answers about my mother's past, but now the questions are piling up. What was I supposed to do with this truth? How was I supposed to process the weight of her love and her absence all at once? Could I forgive her? I stand up abruptly, the chair scraping against the floor as I push it back. My legs feel unsteady, and I reach out for something to hold on to. The room is too quiet, too still. The house seems to be watching me, its walls filled with the ghosts of things unsaid. I've uncovered too much today. I don't know if I'm ready to carry it. I walk over to the window, my hands still trembling as I reach for the curtain. I push it aside, looking out at the trees, at the snow falling gently outside, like the world hasn't changed. But it has. The light is dim now, fading into evening, and I can feel the weight of the day pressing against me. The journal sits on the table, waiting for me to read more, to uncover more of the story. But I can't, not yet. I let the curtain fall back into place and turn away. The house feels empty now, even with Richard's presence still lingering in the other room. I don't know if I can trust him. I don't know if I can trust anyone. But I know one thing. My mother's choices, the ones she made out of love and fear, are buried deep inside me now, and I don't know how to live with them. As I stand in the center of the room, everything feels unfinished. The questions are still here, hanging in the air, waiting for answers that may never come. But I know I can't walk away from this, Not now, not when the truth is so close. I sit down again, the journal in front of me, the words that never got spoken between us still echoing in the quiet. The weight of the past isn't something I can outrun. It's a part of me now. And I don't know what to do with it, but I will find out. The room is silent again, and I know I'm just beginning to understand how deep the silence goes. I find myself standing in front of Richard's door again. It's a small, quiet thing, nothing grand. The wood is faded, peeling in places. I can hear the faint hum of the house around me, the silence thick like a fog. My hand hovers over the knob, but I don't turn it just yet. I let out a breath, slow and steady. The cold air bites at my cheeks, but I barely feel it. Not anymore. I've been here too many times now, too many moments passed in this house, but never enough answers. I knock. Once. Twice I wait. The door creaks open, just a crack, like Richard is unsure whether he wants to see me or not. He doesn't look surprised, just tired. His face is weathered, his eyes full of things he's never said. I've been searching for him for so long, and now, when I'm standing here, I don't know what to feel. I thought I had pieces of the puzzle. I thought I knew enough to make sense of this place, this house, and the man standing before me. But the more I uncover, the more I realize how little I know. You've come back, Richard says, his voice rough, like it's been waiting to be used. He stands there for a moment, the door half opened, his hand still resting on the frame. What do you want from me, Sophie? I step inside, past the threshold, and the air feels different, colder somehow. The room seems smaller now, the shadows longer, like the walls are pressing in. I want the truth, I say, my voice steady, though I can feel my heart beating harder with each word. Everything. No more lies, no more silence. His eyes flicker, but he doesn't move. Some truths are heavier than you think, he replies softly, almost to himself. Okay. The weight of his words lingers in the air between us, but I don't look away. Not this time. I stand in the middle of the room, my hands trembling, but I try not to show it. I've spent too many years trying to piece together a life that wasn't mine. Now, the pieces are here, in front of me. All I have to do is put them together. Richard doesn't speak, his back turned toward me. I watch his hands fidget, moving as if they're trying to find something to hold on to. The room is too quiet now, the kind of quiet that presses against your ears, fills your lungs. I wait for him to speak, but nothing comes. The silence stretches out like a lifetime, and then finally he turns. There was an accident, he says, his voice low like it carries the weight of 1,000 days. His eyes meet mine, and for the first time, they're not filled with regret. There's something else there. Something darker, a car accident. Your mother, Lena, she didn't survive. Okay, the words hit me like a punch to the gut. My breath catches in my throat, and for a moment, everything feels distant, like I'm floating outside of my own body. I try to steady myself, but the room tilts and the walls seem to close in. I want to scream. I want to shake him, demand he tell me more. But I can't. I can't move. She died because of me, Richard continues, his voice barely a whisper. She saved me. She pushed me out of the way, and he trails off, the words too painful to finish. My head spins. The words don't make sense. How could this be? How could everything I thought I knew be so wrong? Richard's eyes drop to the floor, his voice trembling now. I never wanted you to know. It wasn't supposed to come to this. And I feel the room closing in on me, the weight of his words pressing down on my chest. I take a step back, my body suddenly heavy. Everything I've ever known, every piece of the world I thought I understood is shattering in front of me. I take a deep breath and look around the room, my hands still trembling. My eyes fall on the old photograph of my mother again, the one I found the first time I came here. The one where she's smiling, younger, different. I walk toward it, my legs unsteady. I pick it up slowly, my fingers brushing the glass. The man in the photo. He's standing beside her, Richard. I never knew the man in the photo, the man I'd been chasing through these rooms, trying to understand him, trying to understand why he's been hiding the truth from me. You can't. I dainty snack. I turn the photo over, but the words on the back are smudged, worn. My fingers tremble as I trace the faint writing. I don't know what it says, but I know it's the last piece I need to understand everything, your mother. Richard says, his voice strained. She was a part of a life I couldn't give her, a family I couldn't protect her from. She was more than just a woman who disappeared. She was my wife. But she couldn't stay, not after the accident, not after what happened. The words crash into me, and I feel my knees weaken. I set the photo down, my hand still resting on it as if it's grounding me. Richard's face softens, his eyes meeting mine again. She loved you more than anything, Sophie. But I couldn't protect her from the world she was trying to escape. She left, thinking it was for the best. She wanted to give you a life she couldn't give herself. I stand there, frozen, the pieces of the past finally clicking together, but it's too much. I can't breathe. I turn away from Richard, the air around me growing colder, thicker. I can feel the weight of everything in this house. My mother's choices, Richard's guilt, my own confusion. The truth is here, but I don't know how to hold it. The door to the house feels miles away now, but I move toward it anyway. I walk slowly, each step heavier than the last. Richard doesn't call after me. He doesn't stop me. He knows I need to go. I step outside, and the cold air hits me like a slap. The wind whips at my face, and for a moment, it feels like I'm standing on the edge of something, like the world is slipping away, but I don't know which way to fall. I stop at the bottom of the steps, looking back at the house. The light inside is dim now, the shadows long. It's quiet again, the only sound the rush of the wind, but I'm not alone. I never have been. The truth is here now, and I don't know what to do with it. I turn away, walking into the dark, the questions still swirling around me, unanswered. And I wonder if I can forgive the past, or if the weight of it will always be too much to carry. The sun is low, casting long shadows across the town, but it feels wrong somehow. The light doesn't look the same today. It's like everything has shifted just slightly out of place, and I'm the only one who notices. Yakane, I can feel the weight of the photograph in my pocket. pressing against me, a constant reminder of the life I never knew. Every step I take, it pulls at me, dragging me back to the house, to Richard, to the truth that's been waiting all this time. I walk past the old bookstore, the bell above the door jingling faintly as I pass. The familiar smell of ink and dust fills my lungs, but I don't stop, not today. Not when the weight of the past is heavier than anything I've ever carried. The town I once knew, the one that used to feel like home, now feels foreign. Every street corner, every shop window, everything seems unfamiliar, as if it's been reshaped in my absence. The buildings seem taller, the faces of the people I pass blur together. It's like the whole place has been covered in a thin veil, and I can't see clearly anymore. I slip my hand into my coat pocket and feel the photograph again, the edges soft and frayed from being handled too many times. The child in the picture, the one who looks so much like me, her eyes, her expression, she haunts me. I can't stop thinking about her. She is me, and I am her. And that realization is like a cold weight pressing against my chest. I cross the street, and the world feels like it's closing in around me. The buildings blur into the background, and all I can see is the photograph, the child's face, staring back at me from a time that feels too far away to reach. But she's still here, in every step I take, in every room I walk into. I make my way to the small park where I used to play as a child. The swings creak in the wind, empty, as if the town itself is waiting for something. I sit on the bench, the wood cold beneath me, the wind rustling the leaves in the trees. The town has never been so silent, and I wonder if everyone else can feel it too. I close my eyes for a moment, the photograph still heavy in my pocket. I try to picture my mother, the one I grew up with, the one who raised me, who loved me. But it's like trying to hold on to a memory that keeps slipping through my fingers. What if she wasn't the person I thought she was? What if there was more to her life, more to her choices that I'll never understand? I open my eyes and look around, trying to ground myself in the reality of this place, the same place I've lived in my whole life. But everything is different now. Everything feels like it's been turned inside out, and I'm left holding the pieces, unsure of how to put them together. And I stand up, my legs shaky, and I start walking again. But the town feels more like a stranger's home now, a place I don't belong anymore. I turn down the street and past the old diner where my mother used to take me for milkshakes on Sunday afternoons. The neon sign flickers faintly in the twilight. I glance through the window, and for a moment, I see her, my real mother, the one in the photograph, standing there behind the counter, her smile soft and welcoming. It's a flash of an image, so real it almost makes my heart stop. But Ike makes my heart stop. But when I blink, she's gone. And I keep walking, the town slipping away with every step, but her face, her eyes stay with me. Can I reach my house, the one I grew up in, the one my mother left behind? The door is closed, but it feels like it's open, like it's waiting for me. I stand there for a moment just outside, the weight of the truth pulling me back. I step inside, the floor creaking beneath my feet, the familiar smell of old wood and warmth wrapping around me. But nothing feels familiar anymore. The walls, the furniture, everything feels like it belongs to someone else. I make my way to the kitchen, the room where my mother used to sit and read the paper, where we'd talk over coffee. But it's just a room now, empty, cold. I sit at the table, the photograph still in my hand. My fingers tremble as I trace the edges of it, as if touching it might somehow make it real. I close my eyes for a moment, trying to piece everything together. The truth I uncovered, the life my mother lived before me. The love, the loss, the decisions she made, it's all there, but it feels like I'm looking at it through a fogged window, unable to reach it. The house feels like a memory now, and I'm not sure how to live in it anymore. I've learned things I wasn't ready to know, and now everything is different. Everything. I stand up slowly, my legs stiff, the room feeling smaller now, suffocating. I walk to the window and pull back the curtain. The night is quiet, the street lamp casting long shadows across the yard. I look out at the town, the place I once called home, but it feels distant now, like I'm seeing it through someone else's eyes. I press the photograph against the window, the glass cold against my skin. The child in the picture, the one who looks like me, still haunts me, still watches me, waiting for me to understand her, but I don't know if I ever will. I let the curtain fall back into place and turn away, the weight of the truth too much to bear, too much to carry. I walk through the house, the silence pressing in around me, and I know that I can't outrun this. I can't outrun what I've learned, what I've uncovered. The past is here, and it's inside me now, and I don't know how to reconcile the two lives inside me. I reach the door and step out into the night, the cold air hitting me like a wave. The town is quiet again, but I know it's not the same. Not for me, not anymore. I walk into the dark, the photograph still heavy in my pocket, the truth waiting for me to accept it. But I'm not sure I ever will. The envelope sits in front of me, unopened. The seal is faint, smudged from years of waiting. My fingers hover over it, unsure. I stare at the handwritten name, Lena, my birth mother. It's been weeks since I found the first letter, the one that unraveled everything I thought I knew. But this one feels different, heavier. The air feels thicker, as though the room itself knows what's about to happen. I take a deep breath and slowly break the seal. I've sat with this letter 4 hours now, watching the light change outside, my mind caught between the past and what lies ahead. The house is still. The only sound is the faint ticking of the clock on the wall, counting down a time I can't seem to catch up to. The photograph is gone, tucked away in the drawer now, but the weight of it is still with me. I can feel it pressing against my ribs, reminding me of the life I never lived, the life that might have been. The letter in front of me holds the last of her words, the woman who gave me life, woman who disappeared. And now here she is again, just as silent and just as distant as the woman in the photograph. I don't know what I expect from this letter. Do I want answers, closure, or just a sense of peace I've been denied? I run my thumb along the edge of the envelope, tracing the rough texture of the paper. My breath catches, but I don't move. There's a part of me that wants to leave it here, unread, unspoken. I've lived my whole life without knowing her. Why should I know her now? But I know I won't walk away. Not now, not when the weight of this house and everything inside it is pulling me in. I slowly open the letter, my fingers trembling as I unfold the paper. The words are familiar. The same careful handwriting as the journals, the same love that's laced with 1,000 regrets. I read the first few lines quietly, my heart slowing with every word. My dearest Sophie, if you are reading this, then I am already gone. I've written this letter 1,000 times in my mind, but I could never find the words. I've carried so much with me, but I want you to know this one thing above all else. I loved you more than you will ever know. I am sorry. I am so sorry. I stop reading, my heart in my throat. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect the pain to hit so hard, even after all these years. I close my eyes for a moment, trying to steady my breath. I feel a tear slip down my cheek, but I don't wipe it away. I don't want to. The words are coming, and I don't know if I'm ready for them, but I don't have a choice. And the paper rustles in my hands as I continue to read. There is so much I wish I could have told you. I made decisions out of fear, out of a love I couldn't understand. I thought I was protecting you, but in doing so, I hurt you. Please understand, I did the best I could, but I was never the mother you deserved. My hand shakes as I hold the letter, the paper crinkling under my grip. Her words are breaking me, but they are also pulling me closer to something I never knew I needed. I want to run. I want to escape this moment, to push away the reality that she's gone, that I'll never have the chance to ask her why. But I can't. I stay rooted to the spot, unable to move, unable to let go of the weight in my chest. The letter continues. I hope you can find a way to forgive me. I know it may never be enough, but I have to ask. Please forgive me, Sophie. I have loved you all my life, and I will carry that love with me always. No matter where I am, you will always be a part of me. I press the letter to my chest, the words still ringing in my ears. Forgiveness. The word feels foreign, distant, like it belongs to someone else's story. I don't know if I can forgive her. I don't know if I ever will. I sit there, the letter still in my hands, my tears falling quietly. I read the words over and over, trying to find some comfort in them, but it's hard. It's hard to feel anything but the pain that's been building up inside me. The years of questions, the weight of abandonment. It's subtle, like the fading of a storm, like the calm after the rain. She loved me. She really did. And for the first time, I understand that. I understand the depth of it, even if I don't know how to carry it. The words in the letter don't fix everything, but they give me something I didn't know I needed. A glimpse of the woman behind the mystery, behind the silence. She wasn't perfect, but she was human. She made mistakes. She loved me. She loved me. She was mistakes. She loved me. She was afraid. And now she's gone. I fold the letter carefully, slowly, like I'm folding a piece of my heart. I place it on the table in front of me and take a deep breath, the air in the room thick with everything I've just learned. Chorus love for nam spare verge, husteva relation. The weight isn't gone, but it's different now. It's not just pain, it's also love. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. I stand up, my legs unsteady, but there's a sense of clarity now. I don't know what to do with the rest of the world, with the life I thought I knew. But I know I have to move forward. I walk to the window, the night stretching out before me. The world outside is still, the streetlights flickering softly in the distance. The weight of the truth hangs heavy in the air, but it's not the same weight. It's not just a burden, it's a reminder of who I am, of where I come from. I close my eyes, feeling the cool air against my skin. I can't change the past. I can't rewrite the story of my life. But I can keep moving forward. And for the first time, I think I might be ready to... Okay. The letter sits on the table behind me, the words still lingering in my mind. I don't know what the future holds, but I know I've taken the first step toward it. Count. The door is open now. I just have to walk through it. The wind has died down. The trees no longer bend, their branches heavy with snow. The silence outside the cemetery is thick, comforting. I stand at the edge of the graveyard, my boots sinking softly into the untouched snow, the cold creeping into my bones. The gravestones before me are familiar, but today they feel different. I look between them, my two mothers, the woman who gave me life, the woman who raised me, both gone. The weight of it feels lighter now, like the storm inside me has passed, leaving only the quiet. I stand still, the weight of the moment pulling me deeper into the earth beneath my feet. The cemetery is just as it's always been, still, quiet, and untouched by the world. But today, it feels like something has shifted. The snow that covers everything feels softer, like it's hiding the pain of the past, covering it with a gentle layer of peace. I never thought I'd feel peace here, not with all the questions still left unanswered. I look from one gravestone to the other. My biological mother's name carved into the stone, the years of her life sealed away in the cold earth. And beside it, the name of the woman who raised me, who loved me, who gave me everything I ever needed. It's strange, standing here between them, the two women who shaped me, but in different ways. The one I never knew, and the one I grew up with. The one who was taken too soon, and the one who let me go too easily. I glance down at the photograph in my pocket. The child who looks like me. The woman in the photo, the one I didn't know, the one I couldn't bring myself to understand. She feels so distant now, like a story I'm not sure belongs to me, but it does. I reach down and touch the cold stone of my mother's grave, the letters worn smooth by time. I trace the name with my finger, as if by doing so, I could bring her back, just for a moment. I've spent so many years angry, lost in the silence she left behind. But now, standing here, with the snow falling gently around me, I feel the weight of it start to lift. Not all of it, but enough to understand her love was real, even if it was hidden behind the pain of the past, even if it was buried beneath years of silence. I can feel it now like a quiet echo. The wind picks up again, a soft whisper through the trees. The world seems to breathe with me, like we're all in this moment together. I step back, my boots leaving prints in the snow, and turn my attention to the other gravestone, the one of the woman who raised me. The woman who taught me what it meant to love, to live, to fight, to survive. She was everything I needed, but even she had her secrets. I press my hand to the stone, the coolness seeping into my skin, and I feel the sharp pang of loss. She never told me everything, either, but I understand that now. She had her own burdens, her own reasons for keeping her truth hidden, but I'm here, standing between them. Two women, two lives, my past, my present. The snow falls harder now, covering everything, but there's no sadness in it, no heaviness. Just a quiet peace settling in the world around me. For the first time, I understand that my story was never just mine. It was never just the one I created. It was always shaped by them, by my real mother who gave me life, and the woman who raised me, who gave me love. I've spent so much time trying to make sense of it all, trying to fit the pieces together, but maybe there's no perfect answer. Maybe the truth lies somewhere in between. I stand there, my breath visible in the cold air, and I can feel something inside me shift. The questions are still there, the doubts, the anger, but they don't have the same hold on me. Not anymore. And I look up at the sky, the snowflakes swirling in the air, and I think about the child in the photograph, the one who looks so much like me, the child who has always been there, waiting for me to understand. I let out a slow breath, and for the first time in years, I feel my heart settle. It's not the peace I thought I'd find, but it's the one I have now. I turn away from the gravestones, the snow still falling softly around me. My steps are slower now, more deliberate, like I'm finally moving forward, not backward. And the cemetery behind me is quiet still, but it no longer feels like a place of sorrow. It's a place of understanding, of acceptance. I walk back toward the gate, my feet leaving tracks in the snow, and I look over my shoulder one last time. The storm has passed, both outside and in my heart. The silence is still, but it's not empty. It's filled with the quiet weight of what I've learned, of who I am. Gah! The door creaks as I push it open, stepping out into the world beyond. The snow continues to fall, soft and steady, as if the world is letting me go, letting me move forward. And for the first time, I think I might be ready. The past is gone. The weight of it is still there, but it's different now. It's lighter. And I know, no matter where I go, the truth is with me. It's part of me. The snow falls on my shoulders, and for the first time, I feel it settle, like it belongs there. Like it's a part of me, too. Okay, I step into the quiet night, the world wide and waiting, and I take the first step into a future I can finally face.